News Headlines is presented by Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust, serving Micronesia since 1938. Matson and the Adahi Itano program. Cars Plus kick off our holidays by supporting the Make-A-Wish Jingle Rock Virtual Run. Visit the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Guam and CNMI Facebook page for details. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it, and King's Restaurant, always open, always local, and serving up favorites for over 40 years.
Tonight on Primetime, the governor held a press conference this afternoon detailing tomorrow's first batch of vaccinations to be administered. Plus, the Guam Department of Labor is working hard to get PUA payments out by Christmas. And this week, several officers from the Guam Police Department underwent training to administer the Abbott ID Now and Buy Next Now COVID-19 tests.
Hafa day and good evening. I'm Adriana Cotero. The vaccines are here and public health is ready to get started on the first round of immunizations for healthcare professionals tomorrow at Okadu High School. Set to start at 8 in the morning, Public Health Director Art St. Augustine gave a breakdown of how things will be set up.
With the 5 stations, we have our check-in, processing, triage, vaccination, and post-op.
The 5 stations are set to determine eligibility, fill the necessary paperwork, a medical assessment to ensure the candidate is suitable for the vaccine, the actual vaccination, as well as an observation period of about 15 to 30 minutes on site to see if there are any adverse reactions. According to Public Health's Dr. Tom Nadal, the vaccines will be distributed over a 3-day period.
The facility will begin operation promptly at 8 a.m. Until 3 p.m. Then we'll continue the operation on Friday and Saturday, but we'll start an hour later, about 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. After each day, our team will review any challenges that may have occurred to ensure we correct or adjust them.
As with any vaccine, the reporting of adverse effects is critical, and a Public Health's Annette Uggan says all vaccine providers are required to consistently report any possible adverse effects.
There is a national vaccine adverse event reporting system that our providers, as well as the immunization program, must report to if there's any type of side effects, and that is tracked at the national level. And so there's documentation that is submitted.
Governor Lou Leon Guerrero stressed that just because the vaccines are on Guam, the fight against COVID does not stop.
We still need to continue on with our public health preventive measures, and that is wearing your mask, social distancing, washing your hands, and adhering and complying to these directives.
Public Health has ordered 7,800 additional doses of the Pfizer vaccines, as well as 3,800 of Moderna, which is awaiting FDA approval. During today's press briefing, Governor Lou Leon Guerrero calls it a small dosage of hope, that being the first COVID-19 vaccine injections that are happening tomorrow morning. But this may not be the necessary treatment for everyone. Public Health Annette Uggan informs those who should not take the vaccine and the potential adverse reactions.
Does the risk outweigh the benefit? Because again, it's all about vaccine safety.
Public Health's Annette Uggan says GovGuam will ensure safety by always screening prior to injection.
The screening questionnaire will ask, do you have any allergies in the vaccine component? And so we will have that information available so that as we're screening you, so if you have any allergies to a component of the vaccine, then you should not be getting the vaccine.
Similar to any vaccine, there are side effects to be aware of, explains Uggan.
For any type of reaction, any vaccine, you're looking at the local systemic pain in the injection site, some swelling or redness in your injection site. You may have the possibility of a fever. Then the concern we're having with this vaccine that we've heard, people are complaining about headache or migraine headache. They feel tired for a day or two afterwards.
According to Uggan, after receiving the first dose, any individual who reports side effects will require further medical guidance and clearance before receiving dose number 2.
Every individual is different. Their response will be different. And so that's why we definitely want to observe an individual, for a minimum of 15 minutes. Someone may want to stay longer, but we want to make sure that you are okay after you get this first dose. And again, educating them that you may have some type of side effect in 1 to 2 days.
If an individual is symptomatic, they will not be administered a vaccine and are asked to home quarantine.
Also, it's recommended anyone who's had COVID disease within the last 90 days to please afford these limited doses to your colleagues in the front line who do not have antibodies, to afford them the opportunity to be vaccinated first.
The island's CAR score continues to remain below 5, and the first batch of vaccines have arrived. So does this mean for Guam Department of Education schools? Tyler Matsanani has more.
Based on our CAR score, and as the first vaccines are administered, we will be looking into the potential reopening of schools.
Governor Lou Leon Guerrero stating in today's earlier press conference, it's a decision that would determine whether students will be able to return to face-to-face instruction. GDOE Superintendent John Fernandez says there will be a final word.
We wanted to buy additional time to allow for a couple of things to take place. One was we really wanted to see and to learn from the governor what she was thinking in terms of the CAR score, the CAR score going down and staying down below 5 after the last couple of weeks, and seeing what her thoughts were on relaxing the condition and on the reopening of schools.
The schools have a registration process for those wishing to return to face-to-face learning. Registration is open until Friday the 18th, which Fernandez says should allow GDOE to have updated numbers on how many will be returning to campus. Although a survey conducted back in August showed 40% of students would like to return to on-campus learning, he predicts that number will lower due to the previous surge of cases, deaths, and hospitalizations.
It's still too early, I think, for many people to feel comfortable returning. So I'm looking at maybe 30% of our students. We'll get the final numbers, but 30% is kind of my prediction.
In the end, it's up to the governor to determine whether or not to proceed with the reopening of schools. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Tyler Matsanani.
Tyler adds that on January 4th, teachers will be returning to campus for training. And starting on December 23rd, Japan Airlines will debut a new service called JAL COVID-19 Cover in order to provide reassurance and support to passengers with essential travel needs during the coronavirus pandemic. The new service is the first of its kind for a Japanese carrier. It includes coverage of up to 150,000 yen for medical costs resulting from initial COVID-19 testing and subsequent medical treatment for those testing positive during their travels. Additional coverage for isolation cost repatriation is also included for those requiring it. Again, the coverage will be offered starting December 23rd. As for the latest numbers, the Joint Information Center reports that there were 12 new COVID-19 cases out of 484 tests performed on Monday. Guam's current case count since March is 7,149, with 119 deaths, 519 active cases, and 6,511 recoveries. There are 28 COVID admissions in island hospitals, with 9 patients in the ICU and 5 on ventilators. Guam's CAR score remains at 1.3. This week, Guam Police Department officers are undergoing training by Public Health to administer the Abbott ID Now and Binix Now COVID-19 testing. This allows officers to swab arrestees prior to entering the Department of Corrections. According to GPD Chief Stephen Ignacio, the previous process of having arrestees swabbed at the QFAC in Tuman took nearly 4 hours for a 15-minute test. Now testing is set to occur at the Central Precinct Command in Sinahanya.
They're trained now on how to operate the machine, how to properly put on and take off their PPEs, and then they had also included fit testing for the N95 mask. So we're good to go.
Chief Ignacio adds the test is voluntary, meaning arrestees may refuse to take the COVID test. However, he says this will not result in the release of an arrestee. As for vaccine distribution among GPD frontliners, Chief Ignacio says roughly 60 police officers are willing to take the vaccine, including himself. As we reported, COVID-19 vaccinations are expected to begin tomorrow morning at Okadu High School. The Guam Department of Labor is feeling the holiday rush, trying to make good on a directive by the governor to catch up on PUA payments in time for Christmas. Tyler Matsanani reports.
The governor several weeks ago gave me instructions that she would love to see us pump out as much money from the Lost Wage Act and from the PUA for the holidays.
According to Labor Director David De La Sola, his staff has been working around the clock to ensure a batch will go out on Thursday. Although GDOL was behind 2.5 months as a result of fraud issues, come tomorrow, they should be nearly caught up.
Everything looks well as far as the countermeasures. I just got off the phone with programmers. Everything looks good. We got the go-ahead for batching tonight, and We plan, if everything goes well, to batch all the way to December 9th, including December 9th.
And while GDOL focuses on making a major payout on Thursday, the director is also reaching out to those who haven't received any payments since standing up the PUA program.
We have been concentrating on not only fixing claims, but trying to get to those people who have not got any initial payments. That was something that whenever that was flagged to us in our hotlines or at the library, they got special attention, they got handled, and we've been cranking through them as much as possible. We're doing a call out to all those who have not received 1 single cent and who have filed, and we want to make a special call out to them and tell them to please send an email to pua.hotline@dol.guam.gov.
It's important to address the subject line as urgent initial claim payment request. Again, the email address is pua.hotline@dol.guam.gov. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Tyler Matanani.
And now some news of which we're extremely proud here in Harmon, as KUAM has been selected as a funding recipient of the Google News Initiative Innovation Challenge for North America. We were selected from a group of other media companies and organizations across North America to use the funding in 2021 to expand programming and roll out features to increase accessibility to audiences both locally and globally to thrive in this digital age. The Google News Initiative aims to empower news innovators from around the world to demonstrate new thinking in online journalism and the development of new publishing business models. Stick around for more news here on Primetime. You're watching KUAM.
Social distancing may be the new norm, but connection will always be our tradition. Through good times and tough times, we remain connected with you. Masks may be the new fashion, but protection will always be our style. You can always count on us to protect the things that matter the most. Sanitizing may be the new routine, but caring will always be our practice. We care about your loved ones and the things you value the most. And as we welcome our new normal, one thing remains certain: we will always be here for you. We're open and ready to serve you. Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust.
KUAM News, winner of the 2020 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Social Media.
Jury selection is underway in Natasha Peters' Superior Court child abuse case. Natasha and her husband, Dwayne Richard Peters, were arrested and indicted back in February for multiple charges related to criminal sexual conduct. According to KUAM archives, court documents state Natasha admitted that she and her husband included the female victim known to them, who was under the age of 14 years old, in sexual intercourse, and Dwayne had sex with both of them. A female victim came forward alleging the couple sexually abused her since March 2012 when she was about 11 years old and continued until January 2019. Natasha and Dwayne's cases have since been severed. Due to COVID-19, jury selection is occurring at the Academy of Our Lady of Guam. Drug defendant Vicky Lynn Terragatsu's change of plea hearing was sealed in Superior Court Judge Anita Sokola's courtroom this morning. As we reported, she was set to take the change of plea virtually from Saipan, as she is currently released to the United States Probation Office in the CNMI. Additionally, Terragatsu has been named as former Zonia Mayor Jesse Bloss's prior girlfriend in Bloss's federal case. In his case, she went into cooperation with the government. Bloss has since pled guilty to extortion charges and is expected to be sentenced next month. In Superior Court, an indictment comes down on attorney David Highsmith, charging him with aggravated assault as a third-degree felony. He also faces misdemeanor charges of assault, reckless conduct, and official misconduct. In August 2019, attorney Highsmith allegedly pushed attorney Gary Gumatautau in the courthouse after a hearing inside Judge Anita Sokola's courtroom. Gumatautau fell backwards and was knocked unconscious. He was then transported by medics to the hospital. At the time of the alleged assault, Highsmith was a prosecuting attorney under the Office of the Attorney General. He appeared for his arraignment hearing yesterday. However, he has requested for a continuance in order to secure a legal counsel. Highsmith is currently working under the Public Service Defender Corporation. His arraignment was continued to December 29th. On Tuesday, GPD officers responded to a report of a robbery at the Tamuning Plaza Hotel. Preliminary reports suggest that the victim was approached by a man armed with a knife and demanded money. The suspect later fled on foot with an unknown amount of cash. Officers were able to locate the suspect, identified as 39-year-old Spencer LeVar Ross, within the parking lot of the hotel. Ross was charged with second-degree robbery and the use of a deadly weapon in the commission of a felony. He was booked and confined. Lawmakers return to session tomorrow night, during which they are scheduled to vote on 20 bills to include Senator Regine Bisco-Lee's Bill 373. The reworked legislation would delay the implementation on the ban for non-biodegradable plastic bags to December 31st of next year, and set July 21st, 2021 for the ban on carry-out paper bags.
We're doing something that's good for the environment, something that's overall good for our businesses. It really behooves us to try to play by these new rules.
Permitted eating and drinking establishments will be exempt from the paper bag ban. Lawmakers are slated to vote Thursday night at 7 p.m. President-elect Joe Biden stumped in Georgia with Democratic Senate candidates Raphael Warnock and Jon Ossoff. 6 weeks have passed since Election Day, and today top Senate Republicans are finally acknowledging the results publicly. Michael George is in Wilmington, Delaware, with more.
Let me start with 2 simple words. Thank you.
Fresh off of his Electoral College victory, President-elect Joe Biden went to Georgia to rally Democratic voters ahead of next month's Senate runoff elections.
I need 2 senators from this state who want to get something done, not 2 senators who are just going to get in the way.
The election outcome there will determine the balance of power on Capitol Hill.
It is time to vote like we have never voted before, Georgia. Put your shoes on. Let's get it done.
Earlier, the president-elect said he had a phone call with Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, who finally acknowledged Mr. Biden's win publicly.
I want to congratulate President-elect Joe Biden.
I called him to thank him for the congratulations. Told him, although we disagree on a lot of things, there's things we can work together on.
After the Electoral College certified his win, President-elect Biden denounced President Trump's attempts to overturn the election results in the courts, calling it an unprecedented assault on our democracy. But President Trump is not backing down and continues to make unsubstantiated claims of voter fraud.
The president is still involved in ongoing litigation related to the election. Yesterday's vote was one step in the constitutional process.
Meanwhile, the president-elect and vice president-elect continue working on their transition. Sources tell CBS News Mr. Biden plans to name former Michigan Governor Jennifer Granholm Energy Secretary and former South Bend, Indiana Mayor Pete Buttigieg Transportation Secretary.
For a year that was so dark, it's an inspiring sight to see many still pushing the holiday spirit by decking the halls. Harvest Baptist Church's Brian Lennartz is striving to make this year's Festival of Lights brighter than ever.
Festival of Lights has kind of become a staple around the island. We usually bring in a couple thousand people. We have food trucks. We do a free carnival. We did a snowball fight last year.
With COVID derailing their traditional celebration, they knew they had to think outside the sleigh.
We had to be creative. Self-admittedly, we're on probably plan 7.4 of how we put this together. We've been working with DPHSS, been working with the community. Our goal going into our event was that we would have a fun, family, safe experience.
From Friday the 18th to Sunday the 20th, you can be part of the Christmas experience. The drive-through program will include a live nativity that spans a majority of the campus that will transport spectators back to the first Christmas in Bethlehem.
Our goal is to accomplish every single one of your senses except for touch for this event. You're gonna smell temple senses with it. We have different smells that are becoming, which would have been found in the original temple. You're going to hear the sounds. We have the old Jewish instruments, the shofars. We have the old clothing. You're going to see over 60 individuals, or right around 60, dressed in garb that would have been there during the first century. A lot of study went into this. A lot of resources went into this.
Festival of Lights, the Christmas experience, will be available from Friday to Sunday from 6 to 9 p.m. at the Harvest campus. Coming up, we catch up with Annette Tingeff-Pago. You're watching KUAM.
your community calendars, brought to you by Taco Bell. Whether it's your first meal or your fourth meal, we've got you covered. Taco Bell, live Más.
Time doesn't stop, and neither should you or your business. Introducing Stroll Courier. Now you can have all your packages, documents, and gifts delivered island-wide without leaving the comfort of your home or office. Delivery has never been easier with our pre-booking and express same-day delivery options. Visit strollguam.com/courier and book a delivery today. Stroll Courier. Book, track, deliver.
Welcome back. Earlier today on The Link, we caught up with some of the many members of the Anetnan Gef Pago who are celebrating their 20th anniversary. The group, which promotes cultural art, shared with us what it's been like to advocate Guam's language, dress, dance, and more throughout the world for 2 decades.
So when I started to teach, I really felt that performance arts was the way in which we can continue to keep our stories relevant and our culture relevant for these young folks. If you ever attend any of my practices, I really try to engage these, many of them involved in the creative process. So the ultimate, of course, at the end of the performance or the routine, of course, I give my stamp of approval, but the concepts, the motions, the movements, all of that is very cooperative and collaborative with many of the dancers, because I can say what more culture is or what I feel that they should do, but at the end of the day, they're the carriers of it. They're going to be they are the next generation. And so we need to be able to give them as much tools as they can so that they can continue to move forward, especially in the middle of social media when they're bombarded with many different types of influences. That's why I like to take them off island, because I like to call it the force the identity crisis. You know, everything is honky-dory here on the island, right? And then when they leave, and then they get forced with questions like, why do you only speak English, or force the questions, are you Filipino, or are you another culture, or whatever it is, it makes them intrinsically value who they are a little bit more. So when they come back, they have a broader awareness, and hopefully they make decisions towards what they feel is the next step for them in their identity, in learning more about their identity.
Mm-hmm. And
I don't know if I answered your question.
Absolutely, yeah. No, it's a nice stream of thought there. And 20 years of doing this, and you can't do it alone. So let's talk to some of the other members here. That Stacy, you're on the board. So what exactly is your role in what Anetnan Gef Pago does around the world?
Well, good morning, first of all. I am actually on Zoom with you from Kauai this morning. I'm not on the island of Guam anymore, but I'm a relatively new member on the board for Anetnan Gef Pago. We oversee the business aspect, if you will, on that side of the fence in terms of its existence. But that's the school bell at the school.
What is that?
Don't you think it's cool?
Yeah.
So one of the things that I have focused on with Vince as a board member and somebody who believes in his process and the way that he's been handling IG for as long as I've known him is I focus more on the educational component with him. He has, of course, gone through 20 years of a very, very rich experience. I wish I've been to all the places that Vince has been to with the kids. Unfortunately, I've only been to Korea. That was supposed to be the start, and then all kinds of things happened. And then I couldn't really get off the ground and get with him anywhere else. We did schedule a big trip with him to have him perform for the Chief State School Officers, the CCSSO, with the Superintendent of Education. And then Corona came and changed those plans. But nonetheless, I wanted to forge a new relationship. He's done 20 years, and now 20 years moving forward, my goal on the board was to open up educational opportunities for IG.
Your Cold Stone Creamery birthday shoutouts when we return.
The only way you beat 6-month-aged cheddar toasted on the shell of a chalupa is to put it in this box. The Toasted Cheddar Chalupa box is back for a limited time, only at Taco Bell.
We rely on each other to be there in the good and bad times.
Parents rely on me for making sure that their kids are always in the best of their health.
The community relies on me when emergencies strike.
My students rely on me to move them higher in what they're learning.
Our kids rely on us to provide them with all the support they need.
For keeping us in touch every day,
For every call and schedule I receive, and for every emergency I respond to.
And with my need to respond in the timeliest manner,
to keep my knowledge updated.
For keeping us connected every day, we only rely on Docomo Pacific.
And before we close out the news tonight, our latest round of birthday shoutouts from the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club.
Happy birthday on December 16th to Donna Sanford from baby Chloe, Rudy Jr., Jeannie, Keith, Marla, Karen, Ovo, Kai, Roki, and Norma Santos. They say they love you and have a great day. Haley and Abby Borja, happy birthday to you, both of you. Love mom, dad, and the familia. Damian Harlan Narcissus, happy graduation to first job to last teen year. You have proven, your beloved family says, that 2020 cannot hold you back. Stay focused and stay humble. This is coming from Grandma Nita. Zoe Isabel Shinahara, happy birthday to you on your 11th birthday. Our love will follow you wherever you go, say Papa and Mama. An amazing child you'll always be. We love you forever. Happy belated to Marie Uggan Manglotnya, aka Mama Reese. We hope your special day will bring you lots of happiness, love, and fun with that beautiful smile that you always have. From your Gecko family class of 1972. And happy birthday to a considerate, kind, big-hearted young man, Jarek Hernandez. You are getting an abundance of love, hugs, and blessings from your family and friends who each and every one of them say they love you.
Remember, you can be part of the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club by registering online on KUAM.com. That's going to do it for us here on Prime Time. Happy holidays to everyone. Thank you for watching and have a good night.
In Full Zoom is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
Holiday and welcome everyone to another edition of In Full Zoom. I'm Nestor Lecanto, and we're going to stray a little bit from our typical topics of business issues for what I think is a very, very important issue, particularly in this holiday season of this particular pandemic year. And we've got two very special guests that are able to talk us through what I think is the perfect storm of the worst pandemic of modern times, the resulting holiday blues and how those are impacted from the typical holiday blues that we always normally see during this time of year, plus all the financial and other economic stress that the pandemic has wrought. And so let me first of all introduce both from the Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center, Dr. Mary Vergerger and Dr. Christiana Whitman. Thank you, ladies, for joining us. Dr. Vergerger, let me just start with you, just to set the table, sort of, so to speak. Could you explain, first of all, let's talk about the holiday blues. What is that exactly in psychological terms? And also, how are those, do you think, will be exacerbated because of the pandemic? If you could start us off.
Okay, so holiday blues is actually known as seasonal depression. And that is when you're feeling a little bit more tired, sadness, you might have periods of crying, trouble concentrating. So it's not really necessarily a full-blown depression, but it's called seasonal depression. About 14% of all Americans would experience this winter blues. And so why do we see this usually? It's because Christmas and New Year's, there's additional challenges and obligations that happen with the holidays. Then, of course, there's a higher level of stress. So prior to COVID, people are going to the malls, shopping, buying things, trying to get things ready for the families. There are more females than males who would be diagnosed with holiday blues or seasonal depression. And that's because moms and grandmas are the ones that are kind of culturally expected to make Christmas special for everybody. I predict we're going to see an increase of our holiday blues and depression as we start the 2020 Christmas season. And that's because of two things that we've all been going through. One of them is cumulative stress. The last 9 months, we've had to deal with a lot of loss. We've not attended church, graduation, weddings, and funerals. We've had to work online, help our kids online, travel plans. If you had some kind of summer vacation canceled, people have lost their jobs. Money is tight. Other people switching to the new online format. You know what? Some people are saying can't do it, can't do these new job obligations. People are retiring. Other people have actually lost their jobs. The second thing that's going on as we go into the Christmas holidays with coronavirus is the whole world, we have collective loss. And the world is not the way that it used to be. And normal routines and rhythms are no longer in existence. And we've all had to adjust to a new normal. So that's what it means by winter blues or seasonal depression.
Yeah. Dr. Whitman, is there anything you have to add to this whole concept of holiday blues, and particularly how the pandemic has kind of exacerbated that?
Yeah, Dr. Freigerger gave a really good comprehensive explanation. I think that any person can, especially right now, can relate with. I guess I do want to just add really briefly is that I attended, because this isn't something that's just happening locally, as Dr. Freigerger said, this is a global issue, and I attended a webinar earlier this week regarding mood management, specifically during the holidays and during this holiday season. And what the presenter shared, was that actually if we think about Catholicism and Christmas, right, on Guam specifically, because we're dominantly a Christian population. But if you look at from November up until the end of the year, there's about 15 different, I think she counted, religious, holidays across different groups. But if we think locally, you look at All Souls Day, which we, essentially had canceled. We're thinking about December 8th in Santa Maria and Comelin, and how that's looking. And so I guess, even from a local standpoint, there's just so much grief that we're experiencing as a community in terms of that cumulative loss.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about coping. How do people deal with it, Dr. Freigerger?
Well, one of the things that I'm going to recommend for people is that be open to new traditions. Maybe change how we used to do the Christmas holidays. We've been doing for 36 years the Novena to the Christ Child. This year it's going to look a little bit different. We got the Lumut, but guess what? Everybody is not going to come to our house. I'm going to set it up, and I'm going to set up a Zoom meeting as we try to do the Novena. So open up to new traditions. The other thing is maybe start new traditions, start something new and different. The second thing is for those of us who are grandparents and in our 60s, not having contact with our grandkids, not having contact with our loved ones is extremely hard for us because we're home alone. Spend time with your loved ones as much as possible. You can actually use the landline to talk to people. There's a landline now.
On cue.
Wow. Was that planned?
Oh, that's never happened in all my career in TV. But it's perfect timing. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Sorry to interrupt you.
Right there. Call people. That's my message. Call your mom. Call your mom. The thing, I overheard. I was standing in line at Payless waiting to go shopping, right, on Thanksgiving, and I overheard people talking, and they said, "Oh, well, this year we're not buying Christmas outfits." You know what? If you have the money and it's part of your family tradition that you buy a Christmas outfit, you know what? Buy a Christmas outfit or do something. Wear a red dress, whatever you need to do. But try to keep the regular things, the traditions and values that you have. Try to do it, at least do it for the kids. The other thing I was going to say is do something for fun. People are putting up Christmas decorations. Get in the car, drive around, go to the different villages, and look at how people are decorating for Christmas. And I don't know if you have any other suggestions, Dr. Whitman.
Yeah, one of the things that I've really appreciated, I think it's kind of a nice parallel. Dr. Federer has, is dealing with kind of the empty nesting, and I'm starting traditions with my 1-year-old son. So it's interesting to see how we are, pivoting. But I've been really appreciative of the creativity of the community. Some of these fundraisers, they're holding virtual fundraisers and giving out boxes of things with like card making kits or gingerbread houses and things to kind of do at home and spend time with each other. I think one of the biggest things that I've noticed or suggestions that I've come across is just don't underestimate the power of emotional closeness right now. If you don't have the means to provide gifts, or what you're normally used to doing, then time, like Dr. Mary said, picking up the phone to call someone can be just as meaningful as sending them a gift right now. A lot of people just really are craving that emotional connection. And so making that space for those types of emotional connections and not necessarily feeling like you need to overcompensate or do the same things you've been doing every single year or in years past would probably be a good coping technique. I mean, I would suggest, and I'm trying to kind of even remind myself about that I can't set the same expectations for myself and for those around me when we're in a very different space than we have been in the last years.
In Full Zoom is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc. GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
We've made a lot of breakfasts, and along the way, we noticed something was missing. A warm cinnamon roll for breakfast, or with breakfast. A fluffy blueberry muffin from the drive-thru you're already driving through. A glazed apple fritter, which might find its way into your coffee. These are options every breakfast haver should have, and now they do. Meet the new bakery sweets at McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
It makes myself and it makes my team members very proud to work for an organization that has been on island for many years with its focus on reliability, dependability, and commitment to the communities that they operate in.
Matson's a great corporate citizen to the community.
We all benefit from any sort of environmental commitment we make. One of the ways that we do that is with our Adahi Utano program. There's action behind it, and so action breeds commitment.
With the Kaimana Gila coming to Guam, this brings a new age and modernization to the island.
It's exciting for me because it's a brand new ship and we can carry more freight into the islands. It just shows growth for Guam and Micronesia.
Matson would be nothing without its customers, and we hope to continue to serve you for decades to come.
In Full Zoom is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
Yeah, I think you're right. Managing expectations is an important part of coping, but I think a lot of people will find it difficult to really adopt a more positive attitude, especially heading into the increased uncertainties that the financial insecurity pose. So do you guys have any tips or suggestions or recommendations or thoughts on trying to maintain a positive attitude or developing a more positive attitude? Dr. Mary?
Yeah, one of the things that I'm suggesting is view yourself as a survivor. You're a part of history right now. You survived the pandemic. The other thing is I love this quote from Hillary Clinton. She said it early on in the pandemic. She said, it shouldn't take a pandemic for you to decide, wait a minute, I've always wanted to go to grad school or law school. I've always wanted to plant a vegetable garden. I always wanted to tell a coworker how much I've appreciated her, that she always brings me water on Wednesday. So it shouldn't take a pandemic for whatever it is. Answer that question. That will help you as you prepare for 2021. And the other one is to practice gratefulness. Every day, get up and go, today I feel blessed that somebody called me. But anyway, so practice gratitude as well.
And
I can add to that. Because I think what you said, it's kind of it's a realization and recognition that we don't want to always force ourselves to be positive, right, or overly optimistic, and that's okay too. Right. And part of like mindfulness and being present in the moment is recognizing that it's been a really rough year. It's been tough, and like Dr. Mary said, we're all surviving it, and we're here, and we're trying to make do with what we have. And so I think making space for that again, inviting and accepting those honest feelings and that feeling of grief, but also not letting it drive you down into feelings of despair, I guess. And also knowing that if you are in that space, then there are resources to help you, for people to, help bring you up. And that's okay too. And I think what we found during this pandemic is that there has been more of an openness for people seeking assistance, and whether it's professional help or additional support. And I don't know if it's because we've made if the community is just more prepared to discuss these issues, or because people are at home and really just are needing that connection, or I'm not sure what it is, but there definitely is a platform like this one that we're having right now, where people are open to talking about difficult feelings and the struggles that they're going through. So I think as a community, if we're able to leverage that and really maximize the amount of supports that are available, because there's so many people. I think that's one of my whenever I think of my COVID silver linings, I like to think about the amount of people who are just so willing to help, Giving Tuesday was this week, and I know KUAM was one of the big leaders in that promotion and in the local efforts here. And so it's just such a beautiful thing to see that, even in the midst of all this uncertainty, that people are still like out there doing what they can to help others. And I think if there's nothing else that you can kind of see in terms of like gratitude for yourself, it's that, looking around you and seeing that there's other people who are trying to bring spirits up and make people brighter. So.
You mentioned struggling, and I wanted to move into the children. I think this is a particularly difficult time for children, especially younger children. So as a parent or grandparent of younger children, how do you help them cope? Because they're used to being able to go out, talk to their friends, be with their friends, play, go out if they're teens and that sort of thing, and they're not really able to do that in this pandemic, and they haven't been able to do it for the last 9 months or so. So how do you help them deal with this during the holiday season, especially? Whoever wants to jump in, go ahead.
Maybe I could start, and then Dr. Mary could add to it if she has some other things. But I guess I would say is really, one of the things that I'm always encouraging people, to do is have these open conversations, right? So if you again, the same way I'm asking, everyone to manage their grief, we need to also ask the same thing about the kids that we're, overseeing or parenting or taking care of or working with, and asking them how they're feeling, what's going on with them, and being open and really recognizing that this is a difficult time for them, and for them to be, managing online schooling and, lack of friendships or, physical friendships. That's really tough. And for them to be getting through it, I look at some of my nieces and nephews who are thriving right now, in terms of, we were just talking about college. I have a goddaughter, a senior in high school, and she's, just getting her acceptance letters from colleges. And it's just so exciting that she's still has hope, at the end of all this, and still trying to go to school and, leave Island for a while and all this good stuff. But I think having those open conversations is going to be really important, and allowing them to be part of, like, we're talking about traditions and holiday traditions. They have their own expectations of what the holidays have looked like for them. Make them be a part of deciding how they want it to look this year. If they don't want to do a Christmas tree because that reminds them too much of, holidays past, then what would they like to do? If they don't want to have a traditional Thanksgiving dinner, then let's order sushi. I don't know, whatever it is, like, let them be a part of planning for this time and how they would like to do it. Maybe they just want to watch, indulge in a Netflix series over Christmas Day and not see anyone else. I'm not sure, but I think that's also one of the things, we want to think about is how can they be a part of whatever this new normal is for you this year, and allowing them or empowering them to make those decisions also.
Dr. Mary?
One of the things that I find with our grandchildren is what we're kind of doing is they seem very interested in grandma, grandpa, great grandma, things like that. So we're kind of putting together a story and talking about stories. So we're pulling out the photo album, the phone, and looking at Christmases of past things that we used to do in the past. And then we're also talking about, what would be happening next year. So acknowledging what Dr. Whitman is saying is acknowledging that it's been a difficult year, but then helping them maybe process some of those things, but then focus on the future. So telling the story of the family. What did grandpa used to do? Great grandpa used to do? Things like that. What was the Christmases in the past? One of the things that we've done as a family is every year we've bought a Christmas ornament for that year, and it kind of symbolizes how our family, the Vergerger family, saw the year going, and so we have that. So one of the things that we're going to be doing is, even virtually, is we're going to be creating 2020 Christmas ornament, and the kids can make it be whatever they want it to be. And we're going to put that on the tree. We're going to decorate our tree with 2020 ornaments, along with our other 41 years of other stuff. But we're going to be making Christmas ornaments, and what has it meant for me? And then what are we going to do for 2021? What do we hope for? Our family is hoping basketball back up.
In Full Zoom is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
The only way you beat 6-month aged cheddar toasted on the shell of a chalupa is to put it in this box. The Toasted Cheddar Chalupa box is back for a limited time, only at Taco Bell.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
We're doing a good job, Guam. In the past couple of weeks, we've managed to keep the CAR score below 5. Together, we rose to the challenge when the governor asked us all to strive for 5.
In the past couple of weeks, we've not only brought the CAR score way down from being in the high 40s to below 5, we've shown the governor that we're capable of altering the course of this pandemic. We were on a path to uncertainty, but now because of all of our actions, we're doing better.
But better doesn't necessarily mean that we are out of the woods. We still need to watch our distance, wash our hands, and wear our masks. So please keep striving, Guam.
We got this.
Hey kids! With the best holiday of the year approaching, KUAM has arranged a way for you to make sure Santa knows what you want for Christmas. Santa and Mrs. Claus have set up a virtual mailbox at KUAM.com with help from your friends at Dial Rent to Own. This is a chance for you to write your very own letter to Santa. Have an adult download the letter form, fill it out with your Christmas wishes, and send it in to us at letterstosanta@KUAM.com. Santa will read every letter submitted, but you may be chosen to join our Christmas Zoom party where you get to talk to the big guy himself on December 19th. If you're chosen, you will receive a special emailed invitation for you to attend the virtual fun. Stay informed with the stations and platforms of KUAM for all the details and make sure you are being nice and not too naughty from today until Santa comes to visit. Letters to Santa is brought to you by Dial Rent to Own and all the L's at KUAM.
Merry Christmas!
Next summer, the Games return for an Olympics unlike any other.
In Full Zoom is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
Sorry to kind of shift this to a more serious and darker topic, but you guys both deal with this in your work at GHBWC. But depression and suicide, that's I guess heightened risks during this particular time of the year. Dr. Mary, you want to speak on that?
One of the things we would like the community to know that Guam Behavioral Health is open 24 hours. We are here for you. We have the crisis hotline. My mind just went blank. Is it 647-883? Yeah, sorry, my mind. Senior moment. 647-8833. We are open 24 hours. We have people who you can talk to if you just need somebody to talk to. Dr. Whitman, would you like to go in more detail about some of our suicide prevention programs that we've got going?
Yeah, absolutely. So, this is the holiday hotline. We were just talking about this earlier this week, right? Has actually always been running, over the holiday season because of this, right? People get lonely during the holiday season. And they want to talk and they want to connect. And during the pandemic, as Dr. Mary mentioned, Guam Behavioral Health hasn't closed, and we actually stood up and increased the capacity of our hotline. And so there are more people answering the phones, and there has been more people answering the phones since March when the pandemic started. And there will be more people available throughout the holiday season. We're not decreasing our staff or anything like that over the holiday season. So yes, they're definitely prepared to work with you and talk with you through the hotline, and then get you the services you need if you do need more services. We do encourage people to call, even if they just are a little bit lonely and just need to connect and are having a bad night, or if they just are not feeling like they can connect with anyone else, right? It doesn't mean that they are going to get additional services just by picking up the phone and calling in one time. But at the same time, if you do have a positive experience on the hotline, which we hope people do, and think that additional services might be appropriate, then we can do that, connect with you over the phone. Everything could be done over the phone and get you the services you might need. So yeah, absolutely. So that's one thing. But also we do have increased, well, I guess it's not increased, but we do have suicide prevention training available to the community members. And sometimes when people are in distress or not feeling so good about, the state of the climate of the the community. It kind of helps to be a part of change and to be an active participant in making the community better. So if there are members of our community who would like more formal training in suicide prevention, we also have a virtual training that's free and open to the public. And if anyone in the community is wanting to receive this, it takes about an hour and you can do it on your own time. And you can email us at staff@peaceguam.org. and we can get you all settled and doing that. And what that training really prepares people to do is, if your friend or if your family member shows signs of, suicide, or shows just signs of, increased grieving or just, emotional distress, you will be more confident to work with them and get them the additional resources or help that they might need. On Guam, we find that, that's who the people are connecting with their natural supports. They're not immediately going to the psychologist or the psychiatrist or the counselor. They're going to their neighbor or their priest or their teacher maybe. And so we really want those natural supports to be prepared to hear that person out and be confident about where to go next. So those are kind of two of the most, I guess, vital resources I think that the community can reach out to immediately, our hotline and formal suicide prevention services.
Yeah, if I can ask each of you, what do you think would be the most important thing that you would want people to know and think about during this holiday season? Dr. Mary?
You're not alone. We're all in this together. We've been through many wars. We've been through typhoons. We've been through a lot of this island and we've survived. We are strong as a coconut tree. We will keep going. And we're here for you.
Yeah.
In Full Zoom is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
MTO Maintenance will now completely sanitize your home, office, or business with state-of-the-art commercial sprayers. For over 30 years, MTO Maintenance has been committed to the health and safety of our customers. And now, more than ever, a clean home, office, carpets, and furniture is a necessity to our island. Give us a call today. Stay healthy and stay safe, Guam.
Call 647-6861 for an appointment.
GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's, offers fully covered loading and unloading area with individual pin-coded gate and door access. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information. In Full Zoom is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
Yeah. And Dr. Christie?
Yeah, I do. I love that, really looking at our past and our history to kind of keep us up and keep us going. We have so many symbols that can serve as metaphors for strength in our culture, such as the laddie stone, the coconut tree, there's just, I think our community is so strong. So I guess that, but I think also along with that is that this, the idea of, enough Malik, right? We want, that we're here to take care of each other. And so I think that's what I would want people to continue to think about during this time, is that we're all here to take care of each other.
Okay, we do have a couple of minutes left, so maybe we'll leave this on a more positive note and give you guys each an opportunity to say a little bit of a positive Christmas message and reminder for the audience today. And let me start with you, Dr. Mary.
Merry Christmas. For all the grandmothers out there that are missing their grandchildren, they're only a hug away virtually, and God bless you.
Thank you, Dr. Christie.
Christy, Merry Christmas is, and I think also just, this year, as sad as it has been, it's been just such an opportunity to, I guess, connect and rejuvenate some maybe friendships or relationships that have been lost. I found myself reconnecting with people who I might not have reconnected with because I'm too busy having real life dinners with friends or going out and doing other things. So I think that's I think just kind of remembering that that there with all the yucky that has gone on this year, there's been a lot of positive that has also happened. And hopefully we can bring that into 2021 with us.
Well said, both of you. Thank you very much. In this unprecedented year of just crazy times, it's good to hear some reassuring words and some solid advice, and appreciate you both. Dr. Mary Vergerger and Dr. Christy Anna Whitman, both of the Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center, thank you for joining us. I'm Nestor Lecanto. We'll see you again next week on In Full Zoom. Take care, everyone.
In Full Zoom is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
No waiting in line to see your doctor or to pick up your medication. From tips to living a healthier lifestyle, nutrition and fitness, to the latest wellness trends. Stay healthy by checking in for your weekly dose of health news on Health Check every Tuesday on KUAM.